Hello all, I wish to share with you how to create an intelligent block using some of the parametric commands. In a situation where we need to use intelligent blocks would be, we want to create that degree of intelligence or flexibility that would allow us to quickly be able to make changes, particularly to, let's say, size and all. And quite importantly also, we wanted to be able to use these blocks very frequently. So I can see that in our field of interior design, we very often use doors a lot. And in interior design, door sizes come in a variety of types and sizes, most importantly. So what I want to share with you today is how to build an intelligent block that will allow us to be able to quickly make changes to sizings without us having to keep drawing over and over again and having to keep trimming the shadings or hatchings on walls. So I'll just show you an example here. So notice if I move the door away now, okay, this is pretty much a shaded wall as it is. But if we were to move this door into place here, you will find that it now occupies the, okay, and it loads over the existing wall that is shaded here, and it creates an empty spot down here. Okay, so that makes it quite a useful block. All right, let's get down to how to create this part. Okay, this intelligent door. Now, first of all, we start with preparing a typical door block like this. Okay, we can just start off with any typical size. All right, and in this case, I have prepared a block that starts with a door clearance of 800. After which, I will create another item here called a wipeout. Okay, that will serve as an area that will be blocking out the existing areas here. All right, I'll just indicate this one to you. It looks something like this area down here will be blocked off. Okay, so I will do that by using this command called, which you can locate. It's called wipeout, or you can simply just key in this command called wipe out. All right, and within which I will click on 4 reference points here, and that will form a wipeout region on the jambs of the door. Now with this, what would happen is normally the frames or the boundaries of the wipeout will be appearing here this way, but we can have an option to make it disappear or not visible as well. So what we are going to do is we're going to change the properties of this by keying in this command again, wipe out. Okay, and if you notice down here, this is where the main command is. This is where the sub command or options are. Okay, if you notice, there will be some capital letter highlighted in blue. So these are the sub command headers. All right, we're going to use this sub command F for frames. So I'm just going to key in F space, and then if you notice down here again, the wipeout main command, we're still inside this wipeout main command here. Then it will, AutoCAD will prompt us whether we want to on or off. Okay, that means if we, at the moment it is defaulted to on. So if we change this option from on to off, what's going to happen is the object will still be around, but the boundary will not be displayed this way. Okay. Next thing is, well, we wanted, if you notice here, we needed the area of the boundary here to be thicker, slightly thicker than the thickness of the walls itself. Okay, assuming the wall thickness here to be about 100. So we're going to make it slightly thicker than that, possibly by, let's say, 5 mm or so. So what's going to happen is, if not, if you notice down here, there will be some interference here because the coordinates all land at the same location. AutoCAD has difficulty identifying what we want to show and what we want to hide. So what's going to happen is we are going to move this slightly, okay, higher by, let's say, 5 mm, and same thing, move this up by 5 mm also, this way. Okay, down by 5 mm, down by 5 mm as well. All right. Now, once this is done, we want to make the door jambs appear and make the wipeout region fall below the block itself so that it will shield off the underlying wall that is actually cutting across. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to select this wipeout region and I'm going to right click and go to draw order and send the wipeout region to the back here. All right. And then we are going to end up with a block that looks something like this. If you select them and zoom in, we are going to see these areas down here. Okay, something extra and out of the region here. Okay, that pretty much completes our drawing. We're going to now convert it into a block, and then from here we're going to build in some intelligence on that. Okay, so we're going to start now. So we would select the whole thing, this whole drawing area here, and then we will key in this command called BM for BMake. All right, it's essentially a block making command. All right, here, and with this we are going to key in a name for it. So I'm just going to call this door intelligent. Okay, and with this I need to specify an insertion point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an insertion point down here, or the insertion point down here, because this is an important hinge point for the door leaf. Okay, and with which I will select the relevant objects here again just to be very sure. And from here, I will then click to make sure I want to open it in the block editor the moment I click OK. All right. If I don't check this, what's going to happen is when I click OK, it will just simply become a block. Not that I can't do anything about it. It's just I will have the inconvenience of having to right click and then go to the block editor to go back inside. Okay. So I can do it right here on this straight away. So I'll click OK. Doesn't matter. This part will just redefine it again. Okay. If you have previously built a block. Now, with this, what's going to happen is we are now inside the block editor environment. So you can see that the background is no longer black, it is now gray. Okay. First things first, we're going to start by building the parameter. So if you notice down here on my screen, you'll find that we will be using parameters. Okay, and we will be using also the actions tab as well. Right? So we're going to click on linear, and this is important. Okay, it is important for us to pick the right location, because if we pick the wrong locations of the reference points for the parameters, it will later on result in the offsetting of the scales down here, and it will create problems for us. So what's going to happen is we want to be pointing or clicking on this first reference point and then this second reference point here, like this. Okay. Next, we are going to insert the actions, okay, which is the command. We are going to use the stretch command here, and I want to be paying attention to the lower left hand corner here, because this is AutoCAD's way of communicating what we need to do so that AutoCAD can understand what we're trying to achieve here on this. Okay, so it says here select parameter. So we have just created this as a parameter. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click on this now. Okay, now if you read the prompt below here, it says specify parameter point to associate with action or enter. Well, it sounds pretty complicated in this case, huh? But let's try to make you understand this a little bit more. Now if you notice here, we are trying to use the stretch command, and AutoCAD needs to understand which area we are trying to stretch and reduce or make changes to. Okay, so we need to tell AutoCAD by moving our mouse over in a particular direction so that it can recognize that we're trying to make changes to the right side or the left side. Now notice, as my mouse is moving to this location here, the reference cross here, this red little cross, is shifted to the left side. Now, if I move my mouse over to the right side down here though, okay, you will find that the red colored cross is now on the right side. So that's AutoCAD's way of allowing us to communicate with it on which side we want to make change to. So we're going to move our mouse over to the right side here and then one left click. And upon doing so, okay, AutoCAD will ask us what we're trying to do next. Okay, it will ask us to say specify the first corner point of the stretch frame. So for this particular command, we need to be using the crossing selection method. Okay, whereby we will start with the lower right hand corner, and then we will finish off the rectangular selection with the upper left hand corner. This is so that we can make a partial selection of an object, okay, just by partially selecting its one of the few vertex points that we want to affect the change to, okay, with this. So we're going to select this way, and this will be the selection frame, okay. And next would be AutoCAD will ask us to now select objects, okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to do another crossing selection this way, but this time round though, after we select this, we will not want to affect this symbolic door leaf swing line here, okay, because later we're going to do something with it that will make it coordinate nicely. So we are going to hold the shift key to reduce or subtract away our selection from this area. And once we're done with it, we're going to right click it, okay, and to say that we are done with our selection, we can use right click, we can use the space bar, or we can use enter. So all this will result in the same thing. We're just entering information. And you notice that with this is our first selection set being created down here. Next, we are going to create the second selection. So what's going to happen right now is, all right, we're going to test this to see whether it will work properly or not. So we can do so by clicking on the test block icon here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just click on this, and go into the test block environment to just make sure the machine works properly. Okay, so I'm going to just select this. You notice down here there is a little handle that we can use. So I'm going to just drag this handle and move it. You find that now I can begin to shift this one, okay, to whichever length I needed or I wanted it to be. Okay, so yep, with this we managed to create the stretch command quite nicely. Next, we are going to make the door leaf, okay, stretch directly proportional to this when it happens. Okay, when we stretch this one will grow as well. This distance will grow longer at the same time. Yeah, so we're going to close the test block and go back now. So we're going to work on this part here. Same thing, we're going to create the stretch command. Okay, and we look at the lower left hand corner here. It says select parameter. So what we are going to do is we're going to click on this same parameter here, and next we look at the prompt again. Specify parameter point to associate with action or enter. Okay, so again, it's AutoCAD's way of telling us, hey, which side do you want to affect in your stretch command? Yeah, if you look at this side down here will swing up and down this way or this way. So what's going to happen is it will actually be affecting this side. All right. So we are going to mouse over and then click one click here saying that we want to affect the right side here. Next, AutoCAD will prompt again. It will prompt us to specify first corner of stretch frame or polygon. So in this case, we are again going to use the lower left hand first click and upper left hand second click. This is what we call the crossing selection. Upon doing this, AutoCAD will prompt us to select objects. Now, the difference is, right just now, what we're doing is actually a selection frame that will affect the stretching of the vertex points here, okay, along this region. So the vertex here will be affected. Yeah. Next, we need to select the object to tell AutoCAD, hey, what object are we trying to make changes to? So we are going to again use the crossing selection command again to select this, but again, we don't want to be affecting the symbolic arc here. So we're going to hold the shift key and deselect away this hidden line here. And once we are done with this, we will just use right click space or enter to finish off the command. And notice down here, a second selection set has been created. So right now, we want to go to the test block again to test it one more time here. So if we click on this now to select the block and we're going to drag the handle, you'll find that when we drag this now, it will move, but it is actually moving in only one direction, this way only, which is wrong. We wanted this part to be moving this way, but we wanted the door leaf to be moving this way. Okay, this is because we haven't quite specified the angle yet. Okay, that offset angle. So let us close the text block now, and then let's just make changes to it again. Okay, we're going to zoom in here and click on the this second selection set now. You notice that when we click on this, okay, the selection sets will be highlighted here. All right, we're going to click on this, then right click on it to click on the action selection set, and we are going to move down to modify selection set here. And with this, inside the properties menu here, okay, you will find that there is an area down here called angle offset that we can make a change to. Just now it was at angle 0, so that's why it is moving left and right only. Now we're going to make a change to that and change this to 90 degrees so that when we make a change this side, it will make a change on this side. Okay, so after we have done this, let's test it out again to see whether it will work properly or not. Same thing, I will select the block now and then I will attempt to just drag it and move it. You now notice that the blocks move in tandem and they move in exact perpendicular directions here. So I guess this would work already, and I'm going to close the test block. The last part here will involve us creating creating a command that will grow in tandem. Okay, that will make this arc grow in tandem with our editing of this location here, our stretching command. And to do that, we are going to use the scale command here. And under select parameter, we are still going to use the same parameter down here. Okay. And we will select the hidden line arc to be the only object we want to be affecting. Okay. And once we're done with it, again, we'll just right click to finish off the command. And down here, if you notice, the third selection set has been created. Okay, we always want to test our creation before we finalize everything. So I'm going to just click on test block here. And with this, I'm just going to click and drag to make sure everything will work nicely down here. Okay, so if you notice, everything will grow in tandem. So it has become quite an intelligent block already. Okay, with this, our creation is quite successful. We can now close the test block and perhaps we can now begin to create a series of preset sizes of the doors so that in our planning, we do not need to spend too much time trying to stretch it to a particular size which is common. Okay, so here's what we do. We are going to select the distance, okay, this parameter again, and go to the properties palette, and under this area down here called distance type or this type, this area here, it is by default set to none. We are going to change that by changing it to a set of lists. A list of, we're going to create a list of sizes down here and all. Okay, we can do so by clicking on the 800 size value, this default size value here, and clicking on this button down here on the right to call out the add distance value dialog box. And we can add a series of dimensions or this preset distances inside. Okay, I'm going to do so by adding in, let's say, 650, and I'm going to put a comma so that I can add a few more at a time. Okay, perhaps 750 also, comma, 800, comma, 900, comma, 1000. Okay, and in doing so, after we are done with this, we can just simply click add, and then you will notice the series of numbers will be added in all at once. And then we can click OK. And after our creation here, you notice when we select the parameter, you find that there are a few blue markers here that shows the incremental sizes that we have preset. So we are going to go in again, lastly, to test the block again to see that it can work. Okay, to just make sure it can work properly here. So we're just going to select this again. And if you notice, it now constricts us from stretching it way too far out, too big or too small. So it is always going to fall within that prescribed size. Like for example, it's set to maximum at 1 meter, so this door has a clearance of 1 meter now, or it has been set to the smaller size at 650. Okay, so this has become not only intelligent but also very, very utilitarian and possibly very, very useful, because we are never gonna make a mistake on the door sizes ever again. Okay, that way. So when we're done with this, we will close this test block. Okay, once we're done with this, we are going to close the block editor as well. So we're just going to close this and save the changes. Very, very importantly here, save the changes to the door intelligent block. All right. Now, once we're done with this, what can happen is we're going to test this. We can just move this door up, okay, and snap it to the parameter here, perpendicular snap to the wall here. And you will find that once we can do a draw order to send it to the back first. You'll find that now the wall has not been tampered with or broken. We do not need to rehatch them or reshape them. Okay, we will simply just select the door block, this door intelligent block, and right click the draw order again. Go to draw order and bring it to the front. So now it creates this illusion that the wall has been opened up. We have a wall opening to allow us to install the door this way. All right. Try and practice on your own for this one.